certainly is. James, tell us what happened in that first race.
Yeah, I mean, sort of came through to fifth, and on the last lap I was just trying to sort of get to fourth with Carl and made a mistake, my fault, ran off the track. You know, I was just a bit disappointed for the whole of Wizard Suzuki. We've all worked hard, and I felt I worked hard, but make amends in this one.
But to get where you did was great. Just you seem to cut through the field. The bike's obviously working really well.
Yeah, that's right. You know, we made a few changes this morning, and we preferred it. And definitely, the Wizard Suzuki's working good. And you know, luckily I got quite a good start, and I got away with it. And that's so important here. And you know, we just want to do the same thing again.
Yeah, more of the same next time. Best of luck. Let's go and speak to his teammate, avoiding Robert Wicks. Let's have a word with Scott Smart. We're dancing together. Just tell us how your race went.
I'm not talking to you lot because Keith wasn't very nice about me in the commentary at Alton Park. So.
Keith's got nothing to do with me. Speak to me. What do you think of your first race? You must be pleased.
Yeah, it was quite a good result. I just need to get off the line, and that's been my problem all season. So if I can get away, I can run reasonably good lap times. It's just I seem to find myself mired down having to overtake all throughout the race. And I'm really strong at the end of the race once I get past everybody, but if I was just there from the start, I could probably hang with the next group up, as it were.
Happier with the bike?
Yeah, we're getting there, but we just desperately need this test that's coming up. There's a bit of a gap in, well, we get a couple of weekends off, but it means that we'll actually have time to go and test and get on top of things. That'll give us the opportunity to try some radically different stuff, because at the moment, once you come to a race meeting, you're only making small changes the whole time because you don't want to mess the bike up. If we go test, we can try some really radically different stuff.
Okay, we'll have a good race. I'll send Keith your regards.
Yeah, send Keith round to me and I'll explain to him what hydrating yourself is.
Right. Whew, handbags at dawn. Good God, let's get away. Let's go through. I want to find out what happened to the three guys from the first race. We'll speak to Leon Haslam if we can, just briefly. We'll just jump in. We're so rude. I'm very sorry about that to Larry Carter, who's doing the commentary here. Just tell us what happened in the first race, Leon.
I hit a neutral gear going into the first turn, which basically I think bent one of the selector forks in the gearbox. So then as I come back onto the track, I couldn't select any gears. It wouldn't go into first at all. It just kept it in neutral gear. So unfortunately that was the end of the race, and a bit disappointed. It was an easy second place, that one, but yeah.
These things keep happening to you, not your teammate.
Yeah, like I say, we're feeling pretty good. We're running in the first 2 or 3, and I think at the minute we're the only threat to the Michelin and Hondas. But Ducati, Dunlop, everyone's trying really hard. Gregorio is bringing some nice podiums home, so it's there. It's just a matter of finishing and keeping it together.
Okay, thanks very much, Leon. Let's speak to Glenn Richards. Glenn, just tell us what happened in the first race.
I just tucked the front, just a minor one really. It was a shame because there was nothing wrong with the bike, and I got it back up and couldn't get it started again. The clutch was got a lot of slip in the clutch, so I just couldn't get it going. But no, I just went in there, I think 1 or 2 miles an hour faster than the previous lap, but just enough to it just caught me out, tucked the front. So I'm a bit annoyed really because I was feeling pretty comfortable, but we got another go now.
Okay, now you've got a good start. More of the same.
I'll be trying, yeah, for sure.
Okay, thanks very much, Glenn. Let's have a word. Jonathan Ray, because it's a big day for him, and he obviously had that off in the first lap. Just tell us what happened.
Yeah, Michael Rutter was coming past and just unfortunately touched and just raced an accident, and that was my race over.
And the man had been such a help to you before. When I was speaking to you beforehand, I actually mentioned that to him. He said he didn't even realise that you'd had it coming together, but it's just like that at that first turn, isn't it, here?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said before, it's a hectic first turn. You need to get there first to avoid the traffic, but yeah, Michael's helped me out. It's nothing against him. It's a racing accident, so it's just clean sheet in this race, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Are you happy with your start?
No, I really fluffed the start up in the first race, so just have to go with different technique this time and hope it works.
Okay, well, at least you get a second chance. Make the most of it. Well, that's it from the grid. Everyone's starting to get ready, so let's rejoin Keith.
A little bit of pressure on Leon Haslam, I feel, here at the moment, and I think Glenn Richards needs a bit of a result as well from second place on the grid as they ran the throttle. It's a good start from Ray again. Jonathan Ray that time got an absolute blinder of a start. That's the kind of start the young man wanted. Turn one then, will Jonathan Ray make it through here? The Hawk Kawasaki sweeps majestically across the nose of a lot of them. Meanwhile, Dean Thomas gets caught up in the middle of it. That's an NVIDIA bike that's just gone across the road there.
John Crockford.
Yeah, it was John Crockford who's deputising with Dennis Hobbs, I think it is, on the NVIDIA team. Meanwhile, that's Glenn Richards. Out front is Glenn Richards. Jonathan Ray in second place. Jonathan Ray, my fingers are crossed. I just hope he can hold together a couple of good laps. Whoa, 2 Rizza Suzukis get him right in the melee in the middle there. There's a Stobart Honda goes through, and there is Michael Rutter back in what? 5th, 6th, 7th place for Michael Rutter. A lot of odd lines. ends as they try and jockey for the odd position. But in the premier position, it is 75, the Hawk Kawasaki of Glenn Richards, followed by 65, the pole sitter, 18-year-old Jonathan Ray, son of Johnny Ray, well known to any of you motorcycle fans around the world. Third place is Chianari. Fourth place looks like Haslam. It is. Haslam on a 91 bike. 33 is Michael Abney. 3 is Gary Mason.
This is a tough one for Michael Rutter. 2 stubborn Hondas in front of Michael Rutter. He's way down in 6th or 7th at the moment.
Well, his championship, he's never going to win this championship unless he actually makes a start. He's got a lot of work to do. He's got Gregorio Lavia all over him like a rash.
Johnny Ray in front.
Johnny Ray in front.
No,
sorry.
no,
Glenn Richards is out. Glenn Richards got a bit of a lead.
I'm getting excited. Wishful
Be
thinking.
careful of a man of your age. Richards, Ray, Chianari. I don't think Chianari's going to be there for too long. Then it's Haslam in 4th place. Look at Chianari, the line he goes for. He just wants to stand that motorcycle up on the fat bit of the tyre and blast it past the rest. Here he comes. That was down to the line that he took onto this front straight, really. That thing is fast, but I don't know whether it's that much faster than Jonathan Ray's.
He just got a good line out the corner, got it stood up and got on the big bit of the tyre.
Well, Jonathan Ray can learn a hell of a lot from the 2 men in front of him. Chianari and Richards. He couldn't have 2 more different styles in front of Jonathan Ray at the moment. 6 is Chianari.
Yeah, this is good for Jonathan Ray. Chianari come past, obviously fast man, experienced on this, on passing on leading races. So Jonathan Ray can just have a look behind him.
Fastest lap has gone to Richards so far. That was on lap 1, of course. 65, Jonathan Ray. Red Bull rookie program, and I tell you what, there are going to be people absolutely scrambling to get into that program. They picked this young man because they thought he had talent, not necessarily in road racing, but they thought he had talent on a motorcycle. Moved him through the 125s, into the super sports, onto the Superbike. He beats himself up every week when he thinks he underachieves. Through has gone Haslam. Well, I have to say that in race conditions, Jonathan Ray is learning yard by yard at the moment. He just needs to settle down, follow these guys, and then wait for it to come back to him later in the race.
This is great, and later in the season, this is what he needs. He just needs to finish races now. We know he's got the pace, we know he's got the speed, we know he's got a bike that works, so he really just has to sit there and learn. And if he can run the top half dozen, that's perfect.
Look at Chianari, though. No jump starts, it says on the monitor. Chianari all over Glenn Richards now. Glenn Richards smooth, Chianari spectacular. He has a great line through here. He really lays on it, and then just asks for so much power. You see that?
Yeah.
Just digs in, doesn't it? Sits down, digs in, and he launches that fireblade down the front straight. He's just got such a talent for being able to sit that bike up on the fat bit of the tyre. Defies physics.
That's what I was going to say. He's also ready to sit it up at the instant that power arrives and keeps everything safe and gets a good drive out of the corners.
Absolutely fantastic, Chianari. He really is. Together with the Honda, he works with it like it's an extension of his arm. Fastest lap to Chianari, 1 minute 40.151. Well, the lap record was blitzed in race 1. Race 2, we are already under the old lap record, and we ain't even started yet. We're only on lap 3 of the 18. Richards, Chianari, Haslam, Jonathan Ray, 4th place. Michael Laverty in 5th place. 6th is Gary Mason. 7th is Michael Rutter. That's a disaster for him. 36, Gregorio Lavia in 8th place. 9th is Tommy Hill. And 10th is Dean Thomas on the other Hawk Kawasaki. Carl Harris down in 11th place at the moment. Sean Emmett in 12th. Scott Smart in 13th.
Chianari just watching, seeing where he's sussing out Glenn Richards, just seeing where he can set him up for a pass. At the moment, Glenn Richards looks really strong on the brakes. Chianari a little bit out of control, he changes direction so fast.
That is really his style, isn't it? I mean, he just does magical things with the Honda. Oh, look at that. He just turns it any way he wants to.
He's got some serious rear traction going on there.
Look at what he can do with that motorcycle. He's using half the road.
Yeah.
He has got so much, he's putting so much power down on the road when that bike's right on its side. It's unreal to see.
Well, that has got to come down to tyres, really, hasn't it, at this particular stage of the race? How long they'll last and whether they'll still be doing this at the end of the race. But if you take on Glenn Richards in the braking point, you've got to be ready to be pushed out wide, because but again, just such a natural talent, 22-year-old.
Leon's catching here.
Well, because these two are probably just messing each other up very, very slightly.
Just be nice for Leon maybe to make it past that, would just mix things up a little bit, keep the keel back just for a few laps longer.
Kawasaki, Honda.
Leon not far off the lap record here, 40.2 on that last lap.
On the airwaves, Ducati in third place. Leon Haslam, son of Rocket. And looking quite smooth, calm and collected this time. And unfortunate in race 1.
Michael Laverty in fourth position at the moment.
Michael Laverty is only doing what we all expected from. I rate Michael Laverty as a racer. He's an absolutely lousy qualifier, but he's one of the best racers. Good style, chips away at it. 23 years old or thereabouts. 2 busloads of people came over to see all the Lavertys at Alton Park, but they've got a whole track full of people supporting them here.
It's just the family.
Mullins Bar from Tunbridge. It's not when, it's if, isn't it, with Keogh? You just know he's going to make it. Oh, look at that, look. He just squirts the power on that thing.
Not close enough. There's a few riders do that. They obviously can get underneath there, but you're not close enough to get the pass. This is where he's going to try and make his pass out of this corner and down the start finish.
Leon's going to take advantage of both of them.
But Chianari's watching. Chianari's getting ready to pounce.
Well, Chianari's going to have to work hard now. He moves from one side of the track to the other, but that was Haslam. While they were crossing each other up in the lead, it was Haslam who made his move. And Richards and Chianari are together on the brakes into turn 1. Superb Superbike racing. Through goes Chianari.
No one can pass there. That's incredible.
Well, he just kept the power on as he exited the first right-hander, who was on the outside of Glenn Richards, which gave him the inside of the next left-hander. And Richards could only watch as Chianari's superb traction just got him by.
The grip in the drive he must have out of turn 1's incredible. I haven't ever seen anyone pass there.
Anybody else would just be spat over the handlebars in a massive high side. So Leon Haslam leads on the Airwaves Ducati. Something nobody would have predicted a week ago. This is not supposed to be a Ducati track.
Not so bad considering it's the first time he's raced the Ducati here.
Good point as well, worth mentioning. We're on lap 5 of 18. Colin Wright to the right of your picture. Darrell Healy in the middle of your picture. Colin Wright, of course, being the team manager. Darrell Healy being the team owner and chief exec of GSE. Major backers of the team. Haslam getting it a little squirrely on the brakes into the right-hander. Keogh all over him, and so is... well, you've got to say Richards is still right on it, but Laverty, just on the Stobbart Honda, is having the race of his life at the moment. He's right there, 33. Michael Laverty, right there with Richards. Glenn Richards on the Hawk Kawasaki in third place at the moment. He's going to have the Stobbart Honda with him in a second or two. And behind them is Johnny Ray still on bike 65, number 2 Michael Rutter, and Gregorio Lavia, bike 36. Gary Mason is back in 8th place on the other Stobbart Honda. Carl Harris has moved up to 9th on the number 9 bike. Scott Smart is up to 10th on the 88 bike. Still Haslam from Chianari, from Richards, from that man, Michael Laverty. Tell you what, Leon is all over that gearbox. Can you hear him stamping through it? No wonder he had a problem with the selector on it last time. Just doesn't sound very comfortable as he bangs it down through the gears. Did you hear that?
Watching out there, the Ducatis are really unusual. They're on the rev limiter between a few corners and also in between gears in some of the corners, and it just doesn't seem that they've got the best gearbox set up for this racetrack. The 4 cylinders are using one gear through a lot of the sections where the Ducatis are throwing gears at their bikes.
Makes a big difference, of course, the amount of gear changes you make. And also, if you're having to stamp your way through them at unusual revs as well, the gearbox doesn't like that too much. Haslam, Chianari, Richards, Laverty, Rutter, Lavia. That's how it is for your top 6. And most of them are in view. In fact, all of them are in view.
Saying that, Leon's got a couple of bike lengths on Chianari, and that's a fairly big gap for Chianari standards. Michael Laverty, I'm very impressed. The great to see Paul Bird's team back there in the hunt.
Well, another team that deserves a bit of a break, considering the aggravation they've had this year so far. The amount of money being spent just doesn't seem to equal the result they're getting. Or the other way around.
Sean Emmett's retired.
Well, he's not looked good throughout this race. He's been slipping back down the order. So the Virgin Mobile camp...
you get the lowdown when you take Rob back to the airport.
Rob Mack's coming back in the taxi with me to the airport. That's going to be a nightmare. He's going to be like a whinging woman all the way back to the airport. Oh dear. As Haslam gets it all crossed up. Not that I've got anything against whinging women, of course. Haslam 91. 6 Chianari, 75 Glenn Richards. Then it is the superb 33 bike of Michael Laverty, a definite contender for the Bennett's Rider of the Day, issued by Neil Mackenzie sometime later in the programme.
Michael Rutter's now got his race together on a bit of a charge up to 5th position. You can see him just in the background behind Michael Laverty.
Actually, Haslam should have got your rider for the day at Alton Park, in my view. But anyway, I won't go there. There's dodgy territory with you, isn't it?
Billy McConnell from the R6 Cup.
I don't care. I think Haslam should have got it. But
I'd like to see you ride these R6 bikes on standard tyres on a wet track.
It'll never happen. I'd like to see you ride them. Lap 7 of 18 anyway.
I'll race you. That's it, the gauntlet's down.
With the best will in the world, we're outside of the criteria, mate. Hey, we don't. Oh, Michael Laverty, almost onto the grass. Well, it was, great stuff. It was either a green Kawasaki or the grass he was going to run over. He chose for the green Kawasaki.
Glenn Richards
of
three places. Well, the last person Glenn Richards would expect to see there is Michael Laverty, but fair play to Glenn as well. He turned it in early, went across the curve to avoid hitting Michael Laverty, so really was...
Well, why is Michael Laverty on? I still see that bottle of champagne being lined up for an Eddie Stobart.
He might be on the rostrum.
I think that's it. I think he's looking for a podium finish, isn't he?
Yeah.
I have to say, obviously John Reynolds is getting more used to watching television nowadays than actually being on it, because he's only jumped once so far in the commentary box, and that was just then. Scared the life out of us last time you joined us.
Yeah, I really do have to apologise about that, but I'm not really very good at watching racing.
Second up, well, yeah, let's see if you jump again at this.
Laverty came from a long way back there, down the inside of Richards, ran wide, turned it back in front of him. Glenn had to turn in early, right across the curves. How he didn't hit him, the skill Glenn Richards had there and getting some speed scrubbed off was incredible.
Oh, I tell you what, it was dust coming off the inside curve as he bounced up it with the wheels off the ground.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff. Still Leon Haslam that leads on bike 91. From 6, Ryoichi Kianari. From 33, Michael Laverty, who is closing on your racing too. What a result that'll be. I think we won't be catching a trip back. We'll stay here for the celebrations, I think. No one celebrates like the Irish. Haslam. Kianari, let's take a look at the times. 1.2 seconds. Laverty was behind Kianari last time round. I bet it's less than that now. We'll have to wait until they come across the line. 1.2 seconds. Remember the difference between Laverty in 3rd place and Kianari in 2nd place.
Leon's doing a good job here. You can't help think that Kianari's just waiting and just ready to pounce just when Leon's not expecting. I just hope Leon can hold him off.
He might be getting a board in the moment though, Kianari, to say that Laverty's about to join the party.
Yeah.
Still, we've got a long way to go. There's still over just under 10 laps of this race still to run yet, so you wouldn't really want to be cooking your tyres, would you? And it's not over yet either, because Lavia has come to the party now. 36, Gregorio Lavia is in 4th place. He's snuck up on the rear end of Michael Laverty.
And we know the pace he had at the end of race 1, and there he is underneath.
There he is, Michael Laverty straight in there at Dunlop Corner. Lavia, I'll tell you what, let's have a look and see where the hell these times are going like. Lavia, 1 minute 40.9, fastest lap in the race for Lavia, no surprises there I suppose, and straight back goes Laverty. Well, bit of track knowledge from Michael Laverty, perhaps. Remember Lavia until he raced here in the first Superbike race today, has never raced around here before.
He's still learning the track.
Scary, isn't it? Haslam still leads on the Airwaves Ducati with the rear end spinning in front of Ryoichi Kianari on the HM Plant Honda from the Eddie Stobart Honda of Michael Laverty on bike 33, followed by Gregorio Lavia on 36.
I'd like to ask John if there's one section of the track where you start to get tired, where the tyres go off and it makes it difficult and you have to start riding a little bit different or approach the corners a little bit different.
In fact, just there, Neil, exactly that. It's a real fast right-hander cresting a hill. You've just got to basically watch it. You're getting grip early on in the race, but then the tyres just start to decay and you'll start to slide the bike. But
is that a case of just squaring off the corner and getting it stood up a bit earlier on?
Yeah, exactly that, and just being a bit more gentle with the throttle. On the early laps you sort of get on the gas really hard and quite aggressively on the throttle, but as the race goes on you have to be a bit more gentle.
Yeah. Neil's writing all this down for the Neil Mackenzie track day that he's going to do at Mondello Park later in the year.
Yeah. Get a few tips. Get you on it with an R6.
I'll tell you what, that'll amuse you. That'll give you endless amounts of amusement for the rest of the year.
The way things are going, chaps, I might be on the R6.
I doubt that somehow.
Michael Laverty is closer to Ryoichi Kianari.
Every time. But it's Ryoichi Kianari now that looks like he's pulled the pin. No, I'll tell you what, that Ducati is not a slouch down that front straight, is it? Really grunts out. Yeah, really grunts out that top corner down the front, and then, like you say, Leon's good on the brakes as well. Kianari can't find his way past in the kind of place that you might think naturally would suit him to go by. Rutter in 5th place, still hanging on in there, but quite a long way adrift of the leaders. In fact, 1.8 seconds it is back from Haslam, the leader, to Rutter in 5th place. Glenn Richards is still in 6th place, but 3 seconds back on the leader, Haslam. Johnny Ray still in front of Carl Harris, and that, for me, if Johnny Ray ends up the day in front of Carl Harris, equal machinery, although different livery, I would say it's a real result for Johnny Ray, the youngster. You obviously don't agree.
Yeah, for sure, I do as well. But I think Laverty, I'm just watching Laverty now, and I think he's willing to do anything to get on the podium here. He'll be desperate for it.
Oh, Gregorio! Hello! Hola!
Well, that's exactly what Michael Laverty did to Glenn Richards, and he's giving Michael Laverty the same treatment. What I think I'd like to see is maybe Michael Laverty just following Gregorio, because I think he'll drag Michael Laverty on to the back of the front two. But when you're a racer, you just want to pass the man in front. And that's what you were going to say.
Just amused you. I just looked across at you then, I think.
Michael Rutter's not out of the equation here for the
He's not, definitely not. I mean, Michael Rutter, I think, is a great man for building lap on lap. I think that's his latter skill as he's got a little bit older and more mature. I think Michael Rutter builds on laps. Leon Haslam's girlfriend there praying to God that Leon is going to be able to keep Keogh et al. Behind him. As
Lavia.
I was going to say, Leon's teammate about to come and play with Keogh as well. Can we have a Ducati double?
How good would that be?
That would be a while ago that that's happened. Kiyonari still there, the meat and the sandwich, number 6, HM Plant Honda's Ryoichi Kiyonari chasing Airwave Ducati, Leon Haslam, and bringing up shotgun is Gregorio Lavia, the Super Spaniard.
You'd have to go back to 1999. It was the last time the GSE had 2 Ducatis with 2 riders on the podium as well. Troy Bayliss and Hodgson.
A couple of good quality individuals there.
Just a little bit of talent.
He knows how to pick them, doesn't he, old Darryl Healy?
The only 3 world champions in the last 4 or 5 years.
MotoGP riders, various. 91 Haslam, there is Colin Wright, there is Darryl Healy. Should have got the Specsavers. It's going to give me some stick for that.
One thing we haven't seen is anyone passing Ryuichi Kiyonari. It'd be interesting to see where Gregorio Lavia lines him up.
I'll tell you what, lap on lap, this race is slowly clicking its way down. I keep looking at the order as far as the race distance is concerned.
Kiyonari must be getting desperate. He can see +0 on his pit board now, and he knows he has to make his move because he knows whoever's behind him has got some serious pace.
Well, he knows Lavia is strong as well, doesn't he? I mean, they'll have given him the Lavia board for sure. Still, Laverty, though, in 4th place. He is the man of the race as far as I'm concerned.
He goes down the outside there, Kiyonari, but he's not going to make a pass because Leon always comes across unless he thinks he can ride round him, which is not an option really.
But strangely, the Ducati seems to, once the Ducati has exited the corner and it's sat down on the fat bit of the tyre, seems to have that initial grunt to carry it all the way down into the braking area. Keogh's never given quite the opportunity at the end of the straight to get up the inside or what he seems to favour, the outside of Leon.
Leon's bike also looks a bit more settled on the brakes. It looks a bit softer in the rear, whereas the Honda's dancing around a fair bit on the brakes.
Settled.
Relatively
I was going to say that's a Neil Mackenzie settled, obviously not a Hewan settled. And of course there's a John Reynolds settled, which is completely out of control by the pair of us.
Leon's definitely losing a bit of rear traction.
Yeah, he is now. Well, I think that might come through. That all come through your right hand a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, a little bit of desperation, knowing that all that work's going on behind you, and it's a question of he'd be able to hear that Honda. He might even be able to hear his teammate. He's so close at some stage. Look at Lavia.
Kiyonari's going to see that Ducati.
Oh, take that, Keogh. Keogh is KO'd.
This is the first this year anyone challenging Keogh.
Indeed, fairly and squarely. Keogh not quite 100% fit, but not far off it.
And we know how many times Lavia says, I am sick of being second, I'm sick of being third.
Well, maybe he's going to go for the race win here with Leon Haslam. Haslam up front. His teammate on the Airwaves Ducati. I'll tell you what, this will be a tense moment in pit lane with Colin Wright and Darryl Healy stood there. It's good to see Darryl Healy over here. Oh, dear me.
Michael Laverty, not far away from Keogh.
So, Haslam, Lavia, Chianari, Laverty, Rutter, Richards, Johnny Ray, 7th place, Carl Harris in 8th place, Scott Smart in 9th place, Gary Mason in 10th place, James Hayden in 11th place.
Chianari was wide there, lost a bit of time to Gregorio Lavia.
I think Chianari is actually rattled at the moment.
I think you're right. That's a good spot.
This is not a position he's been used to being in. He's used to being at the front, clearing off and being in control.
Well, I think he might have been able to cope with Leon Haslam holding the front for a moment or two while Keogh picked his moment to try and make a pass, but actually being caught, passed and pretty much duffed up by Lavia what's rattled him, I guess.
Yeah, you're dead right, but he's about to be rattled by Michael Laverty as well, it looks like.
Well, let's hope it's the only rattling they're doing is race passes as Lavia's rear end just lets go very slowly. Haslam, Lavia, Chianari, Laverty still in 4th place, having his best ride on a Superbike ever. Michael Rudder in 5th place, Glenn Richards in 6th place.
It's good to see Leon as well, because his 2 VSB wins have been on drying track on wet tyres, and it's just so good to see him doing it in the dry now as well, and leading from the front.
Well, another good shout for Dunlop as well. They've responded again to the Michelin Challenge. Dunlop came here with some new types of tyres, new construction tyres, and they are working brilliantly at Mondello Park. It amazes me how Dunlop can service the amount of teams they have to service in this paddock so well.
And develop tyres. Well, the problem they've had is a lot of the teams have been lacking a lot of testing time, whereas the Michelin HM Plant guys have had their full winter seasons of testing. The only other team that's had some good testing is the GSE team, and it shows.
Yeah, certainly showing at the moment. Remember, Lavia is the man that's never been here before. 36 Lavia in 2nd place at the moment, chases his teammate. Chianari, mind you, the same could be said for him. Ryoichi Chianari finding his way around Mondello Park, balked by 2 flying Ducatis. Who was it in this commentary position who said last week that Mondello wouldn't suit the Ducatis? I think I should say that more often, and I think Daryl Healy will look after me.
Prove you wrong.
Yeah, indeed. Proved me wrong big time. Mind you, I don't think even they thought they would work that well here. Tight, twisty, bumpy.
Yeah, it was a very tough circuit for the Airwaves Ducati team to come to. Both riders weren't here last year. Lavia hadn't been there at all, and of course not a good circuit for Ducati. Sean Emmett struggled here last year.
I tell you what, interestingly, the quote from Lavia after he finished the first race on the podium was that it's down to the team and the riders to sort the motorcycle out, to sort the track, and I think that's a very positive attitude to take, and he's just taken an even more positive attitude with his teammate. Through has gone Gregorio Lavia to lead here from Leon Haslam, and that'll be just what Lavia needs, is someone as quick as Leon Haslam in front of Chianari, because Chianari will not have a chance to come back at Lavia as long as there's a Ducati in his way. So how long will Lavia pull away at the front, and how long will Leon be able to hold up Chianari? That's going to be the question on lap 14 of the 18. Really, the longer that Leon Haslam holds back Chianari, Lavia might get a break at the front.
Well, Lavia's been the fastest man on the track all the way through this race when he's had the clear track. He's got a clear track at the front now. He's got a gap on Leon Haslam already. The problem Leon Haslam got is Ryoichi Chianari, who's closed the gap.
Fastest lap to Lavia on lap 8, a lap record of 1 minute 40.076. And still Chianari cannot force his way past Leon Haslam. Back markers coming into view now. Lavia will have to deal with them. Hopefully the blue flags will be waved and that young man will know exactly what's going on. 26 it is, Chris Martin on the Carmaster Suzuki. He was the quickest privateer in the first race today. Obviously not today though. In fact, it's Marty Nutt, while I've been shouting away about the front runners. Marty Nutt from Northern Ireland is the leader of the Superbike Cup at the moment. From Danny Beaumont. Beaumont is back after that massive beating he took at Mallory Park a few weeks ago. Danny Beaumont, 2nd in the Superbike Cup. Let's take another look at this pass, Neil.
This pass came from fairway back, slipped down the inside of Leon. Real clean pass, no riders lost any time. Leon didn't really have to go wide at that spot. Gregorio just dug in and already extended the gap.
Yeah, look at this, and so's Haslam as well. Haslam has responded a little bit to Chianari's challenge. I just wonder if the old Michelin tyres, maybe, because of the changing weather, maybe they've gone off a little bit. I mean, Rutter's performance at the moment, languishing back in 5th place, some 2 and a bit seconds behind the race leader Lavia. It's not far behind, but too far behind.
Well, I think it's just Keogh didn't make the stunning start he made in the first race, and he struggled. He didn't get to the front early on. He wasn't able to control it. Leon just needs to keep calm, try and keep it smooth.
I just wonder whether when Daryl Healy entered this series with the Airwave Ducati team this year, whether he thought that those Ducatis were genuinely, bearing in mind the publicity was all bad as far as Ducatis compared with the multi-cylinder bikes. I wonder if he thought that he would actually be winning British Championship races this year, or whether he thought this was a stepping stone through to 2006. Whatever he thought, doesn't matter, because his team had put together 2 wonderful motorcycles with 2 great riders on them.
I don't think Darrell or Colin Wright would really know what was going to happen. They had an idea of the level the championship was at. They had an idea, of course, with Honda here with their factory team and the Michelin tyres, that things were going to be tough, but I guess they were hoping just to run at the front, and it's great to see them already. Lots of Russians this year, but at the moment looking like a 1-2. That's every team's dream on the race day.
And the lap record. Got to have the whole lot if you can. Still it is Gregorio Lavia, the Spaniard that leads on bike 36 from 91. Leon Haslam, his teammate. Then it's Ryoichi Kiyanari on the HM Plant Honda, followed by Michael Lamany on the Eddie Stobart Honda, Paul Bird sponsored bike, and that is the best result from that team since they instigated that team at the beginning of this year. Behind him, Michael Runner on the other HM Plant bike, the Hawk Kawasaki, 75. Glenn Richards is back in 6th place. Carl Harris is in 7th place in front of Scott Smart in 8th place. Gary Mason in 9th place. Jeremy McWilliams in 10th place.
It seems that James Hayden's gone missing on the Mazda Suzuki there, I just noticed.
Yeah, just looking down there. I think Kiyanari is still going to attempt to pounce.
Attempt to pounce he may do, but I don't think he's going to make a big enough pounce to do the 2 of them. Well, I mean, what do I know? If I say it, he's likely to do it. And I think it's good for the championship if these 2 finish in front of him. Oh, a big mistake there from Leon Haslam, and that's going to cost him there. Through has gone Kiyanari. It was a war of attrition, he wore him down. Now Leon Haslam has got to fight back. Do you know what? Kiyanari could still win this. Haslam's down the inside. Go on, Leon. Give it to the Japanese.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant stuff. Straight underneath Kiyanari. Well, if you didn't realise he was in a race until then, he does now. Kiyanari and Leon Haslam swapping paint.
It's a nice bit of HM Plant sponsorship on that Ducati now. Exchanging paint there. Brilliant to see Leon fight back. You could see straight away he was putting himself in a position to try an outbraking manoeuvre, and he just waited till Kiyanari braked, and then he braked. Brilliant.
I'll tell you what, there's a couple of things that are good here. It's good to see the Ducatis working so well against the Hondas and the Suzukis, but particularly it's good to see Kiyanari prepared to dust them, to have a real go head to head with these guys, keep it going all the way through the race. He's not fazed by any of this, but moreover than that, he knows he needs points. He may not be able to win at this one, and it was a part of his character that we haven't seen yet. We're seeing him now. He's prepared to take the place if he has to.
He will, but not as much as Leon Haslam wants it.
No, you're right there.
That first corner, it's a brilliant corner for using another rider as a berm, even though they're in there, and if they run a little bit wide, you can really run it underneath them and use them as a motocross berm.
Yeah, well, certainly Leon Haslam was a pretty good motocrosser himself in his day.
It's Leon, it's great that a rider does that, because then every other rider will give him respect. Like the last lap manoeuvre of Michael Rutter at Open Park, Leon wasn't about to back off.
And didn't. Well, where can Keogh do it?
Coming on to the last lap now.
He still looks like he's going to have a bit of a go at it somewhere, and no mistake from Leon Haslam at this corner this time round. So dropping down onto the front straight to head for the last lap. Gregorio Lavia of Spain leads on the Airwaves Ducati. In second place is his teammate Leon Haslam. Good on the brakes into here. Really, really good into that turn. That's Honda turn, and the Honda is in third place at the moment. Kiyanari in third. Where can he do it? Still closing in is Michael Lavity on the Stobart Honda in fourth place. He could yet pick up some pieces here, you know. Lavia on the quickest lap. That was way back on lap 8. They're just jockeying for position now. Lavia, Haslam, Kiyanari, Lavity. Then it's Rutter dropping back in 5th place. Richards 6th, Harris 7th, Smart 8th, Mason 9th, and McWilliams in 10th place. Could be this the last time that we see Jeremy McWilliams ride in British Superbikes.
You reckon?
No, I said could it be?
Could it be? We'll wait and see. We'll see what happens at Croft. Kiyanari hasn't looked strong anywhere. He hasn't looked it looked like there's anywhere he could execute a decent pass, whereas Haslam and Lavia have looked strong, especially through this section.
Lavia first through. This double right-hander, it's a real cracker of a corner, and then up the hill. They fire those Ducatis so well up there.
It's got to be all over now, is it?
No, it's not over till that last bend. Ask John Reynolds sitting next to you. That second thoughts don't, he might throw something at me.
John will be the first to admit he reckons he had a sleep last year on the last lap.
That's right. No, I think, to be quite honest, I think all three of them now have settled for where they're going to be, and that's right.
through the left-hander in. We've now got the run up the hill to the last bend on the track. Gregorio Lavia's looking to win here at Mondello Park. Leon Haslam, his teammate, surely will be second. The Honda man of King Keo will be in third place. It's a 1-2 for the airway. Race result, Gregorio Lavia then in the final race of our programme today from Leon Haslam, his teammate. Chianari, Laverty, Rutter, Richards, Harris and Smart round out the top 8. Gary Mason, Jeremy McWilliams, the two Stobart boys, 9th and 10th. Steve Plater, John Kirkham, Dean Thomas, Tommy Hill and Ben Wilson getting the final point of the Superbike Championship. Rutter, though, 195 for him. Lavia now ensconced in second place on 149. Chianari slips back to third. He's up and down like a yo-yo. Haslam, Richards, Harris, Emmett